today said that the law that shortened early voting and got rid of Golden Week unconstitutional, and granted an injunction and said that you have to start early voting where it was started last time.
You also ought to have more evenings and Sunday
more evenings and
voting
Sundays.
opportunities.
I was just wondering if you obviously sat on that committee and passed that bill. Your thoughts on the fact that it's now been overturned?
Well, I guess that's an issue for the Secretary of State at this point. I mean, I think one of the problems, of course, is the federal intrusion into the authority of states in making laws about elections. It's certainly not something that's unusual in any state. Mm-hmm. I guess I've had a lot of cases. I don't know, I've probably tried, filed, managed a few thousand cases in my last 30 years of practicing law. And when a trial judge makes a decision, that's why we have the Court of Appeals.
There's a line at the end of that decision that says, kind of throws it back in your lap as lawmakers, saying, now you guys are charged with dealing with this issue legislatively. Is it time for you? I mean, because I know the Secretary has said over and over again, I don't have anything in revised code that tells me when the hours are, so I issue them by directive by the bipartisan county boards. Is it time for lawmakers to step up and set those hours to codify them?
Well, it's interesting that first of all, the Ohio legislature doesn't take marching orders from a federal judge. I'm pausing, so if you want to put that in a paper, you can. So the federal judge knows that, okay? It's interesting that the judge who just said what we voted on and passed and signed into law is unconstitutional is now saying, take another crack at it. Well, if the judge wants to write the law, I suppose he can go ahead and try and do that. But, really in the past 6 or 8 years, it's almost been, we're guessing what the federal judge will rule constitutional. And so it continues to be a dangerous precedent that the federal court sets in deciding what state law should be for various states. So, we have one of the most expansive voting opportunities in the United States. You've all seen and probably reprinted in your various publications the New York Times editorials about what Ohio is doing with its voting. And of course, New York has no early voting in their state. So I guess they're not critical of that because the party they want to win always wins the election. So it's obviously not something that the legislature is going to do before this election. But I'm sure there'll be voting bills in the 131st General Assembly and the 132nd and the 133rd, and they'll be ruled unconstitutional by the same federal judge, and we'll have the same fights over and over.
You still have a lame duck session in the 130th. These are the kind of things that sometimes get resolved. Would you like to see take another crack at it?
Well, it's interesting. I think if we tried to do that, the criticism will be, well, this is, for the next election, which there's always another election, and that always seems to be the criticism. But I think there's probably a stack, of stuff, up to my shoulder of stuff that people say we should do that in lame duck. But having just found out about it today, I don't know where that is in a list of priorities with other things that may happen.